Here's a Radioshack carry cassette Walkman thing. I originally bought one of these along with a single and cassette or something at the Gun Highway Flea Market in Odessa, Florida. But yeah, and many other flea markets around me, the COVID killed it. Like Wagon Wheel closed. They opened in '66. The building's still there. The last time I saw the building, which was, I don't know, June. It was back in June when I last saw it. So they might. And then Big Top. It used to be a speedway, and then it turned into a flea market, I think, in the late '60s or early '70s, and then they closed it and they tore it down. I think they're going to build apartments there. That one's over in Thanodisassa, not Tunodisassa, it's Thanodisassa. But and then Gun Highway, which I think it's still standing, but it's all stripped out and it's been pretty much been cleaned out, and I think they ripped all the walls or something out. I almost wanted to go over there and see if they had any ceiling fans there, because I remember they had some really nice vintage ceiling fans there, or older ceiling fans hanging up. But what I'm getting at is I bought one of these back in, I don't know, 2016 there, and the cassette, I think I paid about $5 for it or something. But that thing, it ended up, remember, it was a Macarena single. I put it in here and it made the tape, it chewed it all up, and like it would play the flip side of the song, the song on the flip side of the cassette or the single that the Macarena was on. It would play a little bit of that. It was weird, but yeah, I think I robbed a belt off this when I was trying to fix something like some cheap stereo. So let me plop some batteries in. I have these three belts. We're going to see if one of them will work. Okay, well, I think I put a new belt on this one a while ago, but this was made in China. It was for Radioshack. I think it uses a Tanishin mechanism, but look at how small that motor is. It's a little tiny thing. Here's the circuit board. All the gears. It's mostly plastic. I'm going to have to go look on the Radioshack catalog website and see what year they started offering this and what year they discontinued it. I would say it's no newer than like the mid-90s or the late 90s. And I think it was around from, I think, the early to late 90s, I think. I'm going to put these mega cheap batteries in here. These are the Harbor Freight kind. They're not really that great, but they're especially not good for this camera, because I went through probably about 4 of these just to film a minute of video. So your high drain devices, such as, I don't know, cameras, radios, and stuff, these are not that ideal for. So, yeah, like I said, like cameras, radios, what else? High drain devices, but like for clocks and I think TV remotes, these are not bad. And when I go to Harbor Freight, I always try to pick up some of these, even though they're not that great. Sometimes you can get a coupon in the mail for free. I lost this battery door a long time ago. I got this one, I don't know, about 3-4 years ago, and it's just been sitting in storage since. And what do you know? It's turning. Well, let's go find something to plug it into. Okay, I can't find any speakers or whatever to hook this up to, so we'll get back to this at a later date. But I found this when we were cleaning out my late uncle's storage unit, or really moving it. I didn't have D batteries, and I was such an idiot. I had to bust this thing open, and I was only able to get it back together by holding it in with electrical tape. You can see it's all screwed up here on the sides. It's one of these little Wurlitzer. It's like the little novelty kind. But, I mean, if you're just looking at it from the front, it's not that bad. But, I mean, if you look at it from there, it's okay. But what this is it runs on 4 D-cell batteries, and it runs on these little tiny 8-track tapes. I think Hallmark or some other toy brand thing had these. They were called Pocket Rockers. And you can see it's all cracked here. It's in rough shape. I'm probably just gonna put this up on the shelf, and it'll be a shelf queen. But I'm obviously gonna take the batteries out of it. But anyway, if I ever find one of these at like a flea market or thrift store, and the price is right, and I can test it, then maybe I'll get it. But I have a feeling these are pretty expensive. But here's the little tape mechanism. There's the little tape mechanism. It looks pretty barbaric. And the tape activates the batteries. Please remove cassette when not in use. I wonder who actually made this. I think it says on the back. Oh, it's made by Leadworks. What is the cat doing? Cleveland, Ohio. And you can see it's got like a film on it. Whatever. It has like a little... I think this is from like the 80s maybe. We have Blue Suede Shoes by Carl Perkins. We have Runaround Sue by Dion. I think it's just Dion, not Dion and the Belmonts. Great Balls of Fire, Jerry Lee Lewis. And I think these were all on the Sun Records label. I think there were a couple other tapes you could get. Only You by the Platters, and Rock Around the Clock. We'll do that one. This thing's not that. You can't set the volume, but here you go. It's gonna work. The tape's moving. Maybe that one's not gonna work.
Great balls of fire. I let you love what I thought it was funny. You came along and woo, honey. Kiss me, baby.
Sounds like crap. I think I need to clean the head, because I mean, it was sitting in a non-air conditioned storage unit for probably, I don't know, almost 15 years, and then we moved it up to here from Northport. We moved my uncle's storage unit up here from Northport, Florida, about 3 years ago, and it sat there, and then we moved it to another storage unit. So yeah, that's how I was able to find this. And a lot of the stuff, there was a lot of electronics, but a lot of them were duds, because a lot of them had the batteries left in them, or they just sat there so long that they just completely just fossilized. Okay, back on this Radioshack carry cassette Walkman. I don't know if I showed this in the last segment. Made in China for Radioshack. Catalog number 14-864. And I think this is from like the 90s. It had a yellow carrying strap right here and right here. Well, anyway, I went and sourced these from my car that has a cassette player still. I took my speaker system from my computer, and I broke one of the other matching speaker that looks like this. This system's not that great. I mean, I wasted $10 on it at a dime store, not dime store, Five Below. But I just took the speaker off of it, and I just took the speaker off of it, and I just hooked up this shutout speaker, and I also hooked it up to this speaker that fell down because its little hanger bracket, because it sat out here and got wet back during the spring and summer, when we got a bunch of rain like every day. And so the little bracket thing that screwed onto the back, the whole speaker was made out of particle board, but the little wall mount bracket that was on the back, it broke out of the it ripped out of the little what was remaining of the cheap particle board back that got all swelled up, and it fell down on the ground here, and I just masking taped it back together, and it's hanging up there now. I have like a hook. I used that same bracket that broke off of it on the back. I screwed it into the top and hung it back up. But yeah, this speaker's going in the garbage. It has like the light changes colors. I don't know if you can see that. It changes colors. But okay, now let's try this tape. Some tape I made. I don't even remember what's on it, but I need to get me a nice cassette deck so I can record songs from CD to cassette, because yeah. So let's go ahead and try this. I don't really care if it eats it, because I mean the levels were so low. That's what my problem is. The levels are really low. It's turning. Gosh, that sounds awful. It has a really slow rewind or fast forward. Sounds awful. I got this 101 string cassette, Rodgers and Hammerstein. Let me go let the kitty in. I had to go let one of the felines in from back here out on the back porch. She likes staying out here. She likes staying out here during the day, because we have 3 cats. 2 of them are 2 years old. The oldest one, she's 10 this month. So, but yeah, she likes to get away from the 2 little rascals, and she'll come out here and sit in the shade, and they're all pampered. We have 2 dogs too, and all of our animals are pampered, and we love them so much. I love them. But back to the task at hand. It's a 101 strings Rodgers and Hammerstein. I think I remember I bought like a crap load of cassette tapes. I think last time I went to Gun Highway Flea Market, which was I think 2-3 years ago maybe. But this may have been part of it. But it was like a huge box. I bought it for like I think $10. But I want to get a decent cassette deck. Probably not a new one. I'll probably just get some used one from like the 80s or 90s, like a good brand, and I'll hook it up to my surround sound system, and I can record stuff from a CD to cassette, since my car still has a cassette player, and hopefully I don't have to replace the stereo in it. But yeah, let's try this one, because as you heard, this one it's all messed up. All this is I think is just instrumental. It says 1980 on it. Alshire. They made those knockoff records, and a lot of them were entitled 101 Strings. Let's see what this does. Yeah, that sounds like crap. Has a subwoofer, which is abysmal. Sounds like crap. Okay, so this sounds like crap. So has a high-low switch. It's a tone switch. Gosh, that sounds awful. Let me just put that there. Let's open this back up. I sourced some more rubber bands. I think only the blue ones might help us out, not the big one. You can see this battery terminal got a little corroded there, but it still works somewhat. You can see it runs on a little integrated circuit here, and then that's where the head connects to the circuit board from here. You can see what it's doing. See how it's going like up, down, or it's like moving all weird. It's moving really weird. So see that how it's going. You can see the belt. It looks like it's going. Looks like it's fluctuating in size or whatever. That's our wow and flutter problem. These batteries don't seem to want to hold in here either. This should help our problem maybe, because this belt's too big, I think. Hopefully this one will work. That looks better already. Let's put these temp-rate junky batteries back in here, but for stuff like this and like remotes and clocks, these work pretty good. So like whenever I go to Harbor Freight, which isn't really much or isn't really that often, I mean I'll go sometimes, probably a couple times. I'll go every once in a while, but every time I go I try to pick up a pack of these. Now you can see the lights that change colors on this a little bit better. You can see that one. The speakers did the same. They had like a little LED and that little lens there on the front. It was like frosted, and it would change colors, and if you turned the music up enough, it'll flash with the music. But let's go ahead and try this. Yeah, not doing much. That's somewhat better. Still not fast enough though. Let's try my crappy homemade tape. Now you can really hear the It's funny how I actually recorded this. I recorded this probably like a month or two ago. I had a little on-in, or Walmart's little cheap electronics brand that's really just bottom-end imported crap. But yeah, it was, I recorded that, and then I had an aux cable from the computer going into the cassette recorder, and that's how it recorded this. But it obviously, I think those little shoebox recorders are really meant for audio or voice more than they are for music. Has a tone high-low switch. Okay, so I got it open and I have a piece of scotch tape holding the batteries in, but I went and sourced more rubber bands, but I don't think these will be much help. Probably what I'll end up doing is just throwing this in the trash or just putting it back just put it back in storage and forget about it for another, I don't know, year or two. A lot of really cheap cassette, or like a lot of cheap portable cassette players, I think they still use this mechanism, like the Jensen, and there's like millions of different brand names they're still made under. Jensen, what else? And a bunch of other cheap names. It's fast forward, play, and rewind, or stop, fast forward, and play. And if you want to rewind it, if you want to rewind the side that the tape's currently on, you flip it over and press this. Let's try a different belt, but I don't think that'll be much help. Okay, I was able to get the belt on there without it twisting and all that. Okay, I guess it's not on there good because it's still, you can still. Don't know if you can see that, but that little looks like a tuna fish can. Little metal tin can. That's the motor right there. This thing right here. It's the motor. I wonder if I could get in there with little screwdrivers or a toothpick or something and mess with it. That almost sounds passable. I'm gonna go dig around in some garbage and see if I can find a belt. Mittens, I love you. This is the oldest cat. She's 10 this month. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, sweetheart. I love you. Mittens, I love you. Here's one of these replica cathedral radios. These are more for decoration than performance. I have a couple of these. I have 2 Thomas ones and 2 Well-Builts. This is one of them. I used to have another Thomas that looked like a Tombstone radio, but these were sold at places like JCPenney, Walmart, Target, and all that. You can still buy them, but they're CD players, and that's pretty ugly, because Crosley still sells them. Maybe if I find one of those cheap, I'll get it. I've actually had one before, but I mean, if I find one of the little Crosley Companions, that's just a radio. But I figured this, because this has a side-mounted cassette grinder, I don't know why, but I kind of like these little cheap cassette mechanisms. But they're pretty bad. But it's just kind of cool how simple they are and how they work. But I figured I could use the belt out of this to put in this little hunk of junk. But let's go ahead and turn this on.
But God tells Abram to walk.
The controls are really messed up.
Score. You'll save thousands.
I've been pay off close to $15,000. We're doing a lot better. Please pick up the phone and see how affordable and easy it is to pay off your debt at the bank.
And then every time I'd reach...
That's weird. It's like a Spanish.
Getting hot. California.
Here's the low IQ station for the low IQ music for low IQ people.
Single month, but who would say no to that question? At Florida Central Credit
Boy, that guy's going. The openly gay player on the Raiders, Carl Nassib.
Yeah.
He took a personal day yesterday.
He is hot.
He's a very hot man.
Oh.
Very good.
we will see you then.
What kind of weird shit is that?
We have more of these days.
That's just weird. You never know what you'll hear on the radio nowadays. Has a tone control. Oh. This song just made me think of one of my friends. He likes this song a lot. Here's the country station. I haven't heard that one. I haven't heard this song in a second.
It's super intricate, so that...
And that... Offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800...
When you call me, you can call me out. A man walks down the street and says,
You can see how bad the controls are.
little span of attention.
See, this is right next to 106.3, Hits 106, and that's probably like the only station around here that's worth listening to, and I just wish it was a blowtorch station like all the other more commercially owned or the bigger radio stations that are owned by the big media giants. I wish that it's WGHR, and like they actually they have live DJs and they actually play a decent variety of music, but I wish that their station would come in like I wish it was a blowtorch signal. Like this is like something like that. Well, this is the classic
Porn.
like a station like this. Like it's clear and it's because it's on 106.3, and then the Mexican station is on 106.5. So I think this may actually be Hits 106. Let me find out. And that cat I showed in another clip of the video, that's the oldest one we have. Her name's Mittens. She's the queen. And then we have Luna. She's 2. She's a sweet girl. Then we have Hershey over there. We got him with Luna. We should have named him Diesel. We would have named him something else, probably like Diesel, if we knew how big he was going to be. And I mean, he purrs really loud. That's why we were going to name him Diesel. But when we first got him, he was really little, and we didn't know if he was going to make it, but he did, and his meows, he still sounds like a kitten, and he definitely falls under the heckin' chonker category. Okay, back to this. Let's turn this back on and test it with a tape. That actually sounds pretty good. Okay, let's...
Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Una falla de médico le hizo daño.
Let's open this up. Yeah, that was Hits 106. And honestly, I may leave this radio out here because it's the one that comes in the best. Do not watch this video. Do not watch the Groove Is in the Heart music video if you are light sensitive, because it is very, very flashy and it's a lot of colors and flashing lights, and it's, even for a normal person, it's kind of a headache to watch. Okay, let's open this up. Stupid piss ants keep biting my feet. Those stupid piss ants, they're all over the place. Anyway, this thing got busted out. It got busted right here. It's AM/FM Collector's Edition radio model, 1933C. Frequency range, and made in Taiwan, basically China. Let's open this up, and you can see where this is splitting right here. Maybe get some glue and some clamps and clamp that down or something. These are the little screws that the back's held on with. They're pretty small and abysmal looking. Here's the cover. It's hardboard. That's what they make paper clips, not paper clips, clipboards out of. I just had me a Joe Biden moment. Okay, enough of that. Here's the inside, and it actually looks a little bit better built than the Thomas sets. That's not saying much. Here's the cassette deck. It looks just like the one that was in that Electro brand stereo I got from Radio TV Phono Nut a while ago. The one he added an aux jack to. Well, I kludged in another cassette deck just like this. But honestly, if I would have known, or if I had this one when I was messing with that one, I would have totally used this one in that one. But it's only a mono, but I'd have to wire it for stereo or something. But speaker's some unknown. It's called Pentone, and yeah, this belt's not that. It's kind of too big, so yeah, I'm actually not going to use this radio. But I will spray the volume control while I'm in here, because it is pretty disgusting and dirty. Here's the really raunchy, I think raunchy, I don't know if we got so many close to get near the same position on the dial. We got 98.7 I don't know, but it's called 98.7 The Shark. They play classic rock, but it's really just late 80s, 90s music, or 90s rock, and then it's some 70s mixed in there, maybe early 80s. But yeah, they call it classic rock, so I guess now rock from the 90s, late 80s and early 90s is classic rock now, I guess.
Look who it is, last call without a
Okay, so I was able to get this control where it's not staticky anymore.
Courageously living gospel. Your Spirit FM 90.5.
Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, I was able to find this contact cleaner at Lowe's, or you could probably find it at just any hardware store. I use this to clean the controls because I think that's better than mail ordering MG chemicals, and I mean it's cheaper. This is about $8. That's not that cheap, but for a bottle of this, but it's contact cleaner. I wonder if you have to be 18 to buy this, because you know, the kids nowadays, they'll try and eat it or drink it or snort it or shove it somewhere where it's not supposed to go. 'Cause yeah, great kids these days, yay! Yeah, like I said, they probably make this only available for people 18 and older, because I guess they assume that kids 18 and under will, which probably kids like teenagers, they'd probably try and drink it, get high or something, or drink it or eat it or something, do something with it that's not what they'll do. They'll do something with it that's it's not meant for. They'll use this for its unintended purpose. I don't really have many cassette decks around, but I remembered I used to have a stockpile, like a crap load of computers. I ended up junking them all, or most of them, which I wish I kept them. And I've been, like, the ones I was going to get rid of, I just took the high voltage capacitors out of the power supply. But I'm going to try and see if for the tray, if I can get the who's this made by? Sony. I thought it was made I think it was, oh, that was a different one. It was branded Schwab. It was some no-name Chinese brand. This is where it connects to the computer. I'm going to try and see if the door has a thing on it. Okay, this is the top of the thing. That's that little thing in the top. But I was able to open this up. And what do we have here? We have a belt. Isn't that nice? Just as a comparison, this is what it sounds like now. That belt's too tight. You can see the lights on that one again. This motor doesn't have enough torque. This is just how we're going to have to deal with it. This belt's too tiny. So there you go. Okay, I'm out of time on the camera, but as for this, we'll get back to it at a later date. Maybe I'll break down and order a belt for it. I don't know. Or I'll just find another one of these on eBay or something. Here's Radioshack's 1994 catalog. I couldn't find any on Fleabay. But here's that radio that they had for a while. I wonder, do they have it? No, I don't think they have it in this catalog. This is around where it would be. They still offered the AM only flavor radios. Okay, let me try the other catalog. See if they have these. No. I remember my granddad had one of these. His cassette deck stopped working. Yeah, this is around where they'd be, so I don't think they have them, but they still have the flavor radios, which is pretty impressive. They have this little My First Boombox. Let's see if they have this in the 1998 catalog. You can't see that. No, it's going to be back this way. Here it is in the 1999 Radioshack catalog. It came with a little set of headphones. My computer can barely handle this. Kids Big Button Stereo Cassette, 1999. Included headphones. This was kind of like a competing. Actually, this was the cheapest one. It was $14.